Artemis, Hestia, Ares, Poseidon, and Zeus. These are just a few of the old gods mentioned and seen in the DC Extended Universe thus far, and while they've been around, spoken about in legend, I don't think they get quite enough respect for how overwhelmingly powerful they are. In today's video, I'll be primarily focusing on the power of Ares and Zeus, but the other gods certainly have feats that shouldn't go without mention. As always, we'll cover their strength, durability, speed, and any unique abilities these characters may have, and with that said, let's figure out just how powerful the old gods were in their heyday, and the best place to begin is with Zeus. The first time we hear anything about the old gods is during the events of Wonder Woman, where Hippolyta recounts the story of Ares. We'll go over all the feats in this story a bit later, but I'd like to focus on the battle between Ares and the other gods first. Because of Ares meddling in the affairs of mankind and the Amazons, a revolt was eventually begun by Hippolyta to free the world from Ares' influence. At this time, Zeus called upon the other gods to come to the defense of the mortals, and Ares killed every single old god in a fierce battle until he eventually came face to face with Zeus himself. The two fought evenly, and eventually each struck each other with a nearly fatal blow. After this, Ares went into exile for a millennia to recover, while Zeus used the last of his power to create the island of Themyscira and shroud it in a magical barrier to keep it safe. And we'll use this feat as the baseline for the rest of the video. A weakened Zeus is large island level, or in layman's terms is able to output about 100 gigatons to 1 teraton of energy in a weakened state to create this island. And of course, Ares is Zeus's equal, and both of them scale above the rest of the pantheon. But how powerful are these two at their peaks? Well, first, let's take a look at some of the other gods' abilities and compare Ares and Zeus to them. First, Hestia. Now, of course, Hestia doesn't really do anything in the DC Extended Universe. Hell, she might not even appear on screen ever, but she did create the famous lasso of Hestia and left it with the Themyscirans, and we know how powerful that artifact is. And here is where we need to go back to the good old base Superman power scale that we use for the DC Extended Universe. If you've seen our other videos on the DCEU, then you're painfully familiar with this power scale, so you can skip to the timestamp on screen if you'd like to skip the scale. For those of you unfamiliar or who would like a refresher, the baseline feat for the DCEU is Superman's feat from Batman v Superman, where he shifted a tectonic plate off screen to prevent a devastating earthquake. Using a median calculation provided by Comic Books vs. the World, we are able to determine that this tectonic plate weighed roughly 24 quintillion tons. But because lifting strength does not always equal attack potency, we need to convert this number once again. To convert this into attack potency, first we need to know the time it would take for the earthquake to happen, and the magnitude of that earthquake. We will be using a magnitude of 6, as this is just slightly above average based on the headline of quote-unquote devastating. Rupture velocity usually happens about 3 kilometers per second, so dividing the length of the rupture by 3 means Superman has about 6 seconds to stop the earthquake before it starts. Assuming he moved it 10 meters in half that time for the purposes of lowballing the feat, that still means he managed to generate over 24 teratons of energy, or in power scaling terms, country level. So let's bring all of this full circle to the old gods. Wonder Woman scales to this version of Superman, and Doomsday scales above them both. During the final portion of their fight against Doomsday, Wonder Woman is struggling to hold on to an enhanced version of the creature, who is continually getting stronger as the lasso continues to burn him, and the lasso is having no difficulty keeping Doomsday contained, despite the fact that Wonder Woman may be holding on for dear life. Just to put this into perspective a bit, again, Doomsday is stronger than Superman, and it took a kryptonite grenade as well as the kryptonite spear just to weaken him enough to give Superman an opportunity to kill him. Not only was the lasso able to contain and enhance Doomsday, but it was also able to hold on to Steppenwolf without fraying, let alone breaking. Now, if you don't know how strong Steppenwolf is, it's pretty simple, and I'll eventually make an entire video on that, but for now, just know that he's stronger than the combined strength of Wonder Woman and Aquaman, who both scale to Superman's tectonic plate feat. So the lasso can at minimum handle over 100 teratons of energy, factoring in the combined strength of Aquaman and Wonder Woman, as well as the low-balled strength of Steppenwolf. Now compare that to Zeus's weakened feat when he created the island of Themyscira, which we determined was at a high ball 1 teraton of energy, which would be 100 times weaker than what we just determined Hestia's lasso was able to withstand. So this should give us a better idea of how powerful Zeus and Ares were at the height of their power. But we aren't quite done yet.
What the hell is this thing?
The lasso of Hestia compels you to reveal the truth.
But it's really hot.
Now let's talk about Aquaman's trident, which just so happens to be made of Poseidon steel. During Wonder Woman, Hippolyta explains to Diana that the gods gave us many gifts, one day you'll know them all. This great tower is where we keep them, referring to Wonder Woman's armor, the bracelets of submission, her legendary shield, the sword of Athena, as well as the god killer sword and the lasso of Hestia. If the gods did indeed leave gifts behind, then Poseidon could have left this rare and powerful metal imbued with the magical power of the old gods behind with the Atlanteans, who likely worshipped Poseidon as their chief deity. This would explain why the trident was powerful enough to sink the entire continent of Atlantis, and yes, Atlantis was a continent, which is confirmed in the guidebook for Aquaman. For reference, the amount of energy to destroy a smaller continent is roughly 760 teratons to 4.435 petatons. And if you're keeping score, if we take the lower of these two numbers, that's 760 times more powerful than weakened Zeus's island feat. And for even more consistency, we have Wonder Woman's other equipment, the Sword of Athena, which could cut through enhanced Doomsday, which we mentioned earlier, Wonder Woman's armor, which has tanked hits from Steppenwolf with no visible damage, her bracelets, which routinely no-sell powerful attacks, and of course her shield, which has been unharmed by resurrected Superman, Doomsday, and Steppenwolf. All of this evidence shows that the gods are far beyond the level they appear to be at first glance, and while all of this is very cool, we actually have visible feats from the old gods putting them at this level. Long before Ares killed the Greek pantheon, Steppenwolf invaded Earth, and Zeus led a small group of old gods and an army of humans, Atlanteans, Amazons, and more to battle the new god. During this battle against Steppenwolf, Zeus used his incredible lightning to stagger Steppenwolf, and Ares was able to puncture his armor, which forced Steppenwolf to retreat. Not only was he able to help drive Steppenwolf off of Earth with Ares, but Zeus was also able to destroy the Mother Box Unity. This same feat took the combined strength of resurrected Superman and Cyborg during Steppenwolf's second invasion. And this feat is very important, so I'm going to spend a bit more time elaborating on the destruction of the Mother Box Unity. After being unified, the Mother Boxes can output multi-continental levels of energy, which is up to 29.6 exatons. The Unity possesses the power to reshape and destroy entire worlds over a period of time. It is stated that the Mother Box Unity can pack so much energy that planets are unable to resist it, and only beings more durable than planets could withstand its power. Comparing this once again to Zeus's island feat, Zeus would need to output 296 billion times more energy than he did when he created the island to separate the Mother Box Unity. Again, that's 296 billion times more impressive. So you can see that Zeus and Ares are absolutely ridiculous at their peak, and it didn't even seem like Zeus needed to try all that hard to bust the Unity, not compared to Superman and Cyborg in Justice League.
Superman! We gotta pull these things apart. A couple more seconds, you'll see your opening.
Any blowback?
Big time. But I think we could take it.
As for durability, they don't really have any direct feats that we can compare to anyone else other than the old gods themselves. Ares was able to kill all the other old gods, Ares and Zeus were roughly equal to each other, and we've already discussed the strength and durability of the artifacts that they left behind. While Ares was killed by Wonder Woman, you have to remember that she simply redirected his own attack using her bracelets, which were created by the old gods, so their durability would basically be equivalent to their attack potency. However, there is something interesting to note, and it's stated during the final battle of Wonder Woman that only a god can kill a god. What the limits of this statement may be are currently unknown, and what even constitutes a quote-unquote god is kind of iffy. For instance, Wonder Woman is a demigod and she killed Ares, although again she simply redirected his own attack. And Steppenwolf is a new god, so would he be able to kill the old gods? Unfortunately, we probably won't ever know, as all the old gods are now dead. Now let's talk about speed, which is pretty simple, and again, we've discussed it at length in various other DC Extended Universe videos, but we'll address it again here. In the guidebook for Batman v Superman, it's stated that Superman's heat vision is a beam of light, therefore making it light speed as well. To support this, his beams function as beams of light as well. They always move in a straight line, and they reflect off of surfaces just how a beam of light would. Wonder Woman is consistently able to very casually react to and deflect these light speed attacks even when fired at point blank range, and we've already scaled Wonder Woman to the old gods in terms of speed, at least a weakened version of Ares. Additionally, in Man of Steel, Superman is able to outfly a singularity, confirmed multiple times to be a black hole, which sucks in anything doused in Phantom Zone energy. Because Superman was doused in this energy, he would need to fly faster than the speed of light to escape the singularity, and in the same guidebook we mentioned earlier, Superman's travel and combat speeds are stated to be equal, meaning he can not only travel faster than light, but he can react and fight at this speed as well. This is relevant because Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Cyborg all scale to this version of Superman, and Steppenwolf is roughly equal to them in speed, if not a little bit faster. And the old gods were able to consistently tag him in battle, and just to clarify, after being resurrected, Superman becomes much faster than the rest of the Justice League, excluding the Flash, so I'm not scaling the old gods to resurrected Superman, just the Batman v Superman version.
You won't kill us yourself! You wouldn't sully your hands, but you'll damn us to a black hole for eternity! Black hole! Black hole!
As for other abilities, the gods have an entire host of powers seen on screen, and many others that we're just unaware of. Ares, Zeus, and Hestia have the ability to affect the mind. Ares poisoned men's hearts with jealousy and suspicion, Hestia created her lasso, which can compel others to tell the truth, and Zeus gave the Amazons the ability to influence men's heart with love. From what we've seen, many of the old gods can also imbue objects and others with their powers. As I just mentioned, Zeus gave the Amazons powers, Hestia created the lasso, Athena imbued a sword with her incredible power, the gods also created Wonder Woman's bracelets, shield, and armor. It's implied that Poseidon provided the steel used to create Atlan's trident, and the wizard Shazam is able to pass on the power of the gods, although it's unknown if he was given this power by the gods or if he's just able to harness it through magic. The gods can also fly, they have control over the elements. Zeus can create lightning, and Ares is able to do so as well. During his fight with Diana, Ares is also able to control the wind. And you can very easily argue that Poseidon maybe has the ability to control the elements as well. We do see that when Aquaman uses Atlan's trident, he summons like underwater lightning bolts for some reason, and it's probably a safe assumption to say that Poseidon could control the seas, although we don't have any confirmation of that. Zeus and Ares can also manipulate matter at will. Zeus created land masses as well as the human race and Amazons, and Ares was able to change his form to disguise himself and formed armor for himself during his final battle with Diana. Ares is also able to control objects telekinetically. He was able to lift a large chunk of the battlefield when fighting Wonder Woman, and he could also send projectiles at Diana. Ares can also speak to anyone he likes throughout the Earth using telepathy, and he was able to implant visions into Diana's head. And finally, it seems that the old gods have some form of regeneration, as Ares was able to come back from his battle with Zeus, although he never did regain his full strength, and it seemed that he needed war to rage throughout the world for him to actually regenerate to his full strength. So it's kind of weird the way that that works, but we do know that he didn't die after Zeus' battle and did eventually regain some of that former strength. And that's pretty much everything. As you can see, the old gods are absolutely ridiculous, and it's a shame we didn't get to see more of them. It's a shame that all of them are currently dead, but there's still Shazam who is out there, and I'm sure we'll get to see more of the old gods through Shazam, or even maybe through some flashbacks during one of his movies or something like that. And we have Black Adam coming up. Maybe we'll see his pantheon of Egyptian gods go up against the pantheon of Greek gods at one point. That would be pretty cool. So, you know, never say never. If you guys like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It does really help us out. Also, if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can consider becoming a member. Also, be sure to follow us on all the social media you see on screen. Our Twitters will be pinned down below. And remember the motto, it's the old gods over everything, and I'll see you guys next time.